Hello everyone, my name is Julian and now we are going to discuss to you the group dynamics. So before I begin, let's talk about the learning objectives. So at the end of the discussion, the students or the learners are expected to state the fundamentals of group and group dynamics. Next is to explain the concept, the characteristics, and the types of groups. And lastly, they should be classify the groups of the formal and informal groups. Now let's begin. So when we heard of group dynamics, what comes in our mind? Maybe the group, the interaction, and the collaboration. Yeah, that's right. Every organization is a group unto itself. Now, let's define the group itself. So, what is group? I have here the different perspective of the different definition or the perspective of the group. So, for me, a group is a combination of two or more people with common interest and goal. Example, I love Pokemon, so my group is a Pokemon player, Pokemon lover, meaning we have the same interest, which is the Pokemon itself. So that is according to me, and that is what I believe in. Next is according to the dictionary. So based on according to the Merriam-Webster's or the other definition of the group in the dictionary, a number of people or things that are located or gathered or classed together. For example, our section, the section 2, we are called group because we are gathered and classed together to be a section 2. So that is what the dictionary stated or says or means. Another is according to Mr. Henry Clay Lingnan and Mr. John H. Harvey of the year 1981. So they define group as two or more persons engaged in social interaction. So this implies that each member of a group is aware of the other members and what's their influence. So example, the group of people who talks or having some interactions or social interaction with each other, so they are aware of the person they are talking to or they are talking with, and they are also aware that all of the people are in the same group. So that is according to them. So according to some psychologists, some psychologists said the term that a group is a collection of individuals who find their association with one another rewarding. So others say that a group exists only when the individuals have developed status and role of their relationships with respect to one another. So still others insist that the individual must have a common goal in order for them to be considered a group, which is true. And I believe on that. When we have common goals, we can easily understand each other. We can have the same thoughts or we can have the same idea. And that's all about the group. Now let's talk about the dynamics. So Kate Davis in the year of 1982, he stated that dynamics comes from the Greek word, so which is dunamis. So dunamis, which means force in English. Next is the group dynamics then refers to the study of the forces operating within a group. So therefore, all groups must work together. So if one member of the group isn't functioning or working, then it can affect all of the members itself. the social process by which people interact in a small group and in a face to face manner is what we call the group dynamics. So it is all about the introductions of the fundamentals of the group dynamics. So as the report progresses, my group members will explain or elaborate more about the topic. Group dynamics is a team management skill, so it is very important, just like the leadership skills that we talk about or that we've learned about in the past. And it's already included inside the team management skills.
Hi, I'm Shakira Flor Pisison, one of the reporter of the 7 characteristics of group dynamics. So now I'm going to explain or to elaborate the 7 characteristics of group dynamics. So the 7 characteristics of group dynamics. So first we have shared purpose, trust and openness, willingness to correct mistakes, diversity and inclusion, interdependence and sense of belonging. We have consensus decision making and participative leadership. So first is the shared purpose. So the shared purpose is the difference between a team and a group is that a team has a shared goal, while when a group of people work together, it is crucial that everyone is clear on what the goal is. If your team has trouble making decisions and it seems to battle itself at every critical point, it's time to do some digging to find out whether or not everyone is on the same page. So, a popular method for goal setting uses the acronym SMART. So, it is effective goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So, our course on setting SMART goals will help to focus efforts, keep you accountable, and help you attain your goals. So the second one is trust and openness. So team members need to feel safe to share information and ideas without fear of punishment or embarrassment. So trust opens the door to dialogue that can lead to better ideas and more creativity. So team members must also be able to trust that everyone will meet their deadlines, carry their weight, and do their part of the work. So, as the leader, it is your responsibility to build accountability. If you are in a leadership position, ask yourself, do my team member trust me? Our course on building accountability, trust and performance at work addresses the trust in leaders. So it also explains how to build accountability among the team through honesty, transparency, and openness. The third one is willingness to correct mistakes. So, an important aspect of accountability is the willingness to acknowledge and correct mistakes. So, when success is dependent on results, a productive team must establish the appropriate processes for measurement and evaluation. So, track your work and be willing to change course if results are not where they should be. So, our course on surviving poor decisions will walk you through the 3 steps of acknowledging the issue. So, identifying corrective action and moving forward. A successful team will look for opportunities to learn from the situation. They will not let past mistakes limit their future success. Then we have the fourth one. So the fourth one is diversity and inclusion. So a winning team or the winning teams leverage the different thoughts and ideas held by each member to come up with more innovative and creative solutions. So if you find that your team comes up with ideas anonymously quickly and often, your team might be experiencing groupthink, which is death to creativity. Be sure to encourage diversity within your team so it can settle on the best idea, not the easiest one. So, in a cross functional team, you may achieve diversity simply by mixing members from different departments with different skills and perspectives. If you are building a departmental team, you can achieve diversity in your hiring practices by expanding your recruiting sources to attract diversity in age, sex, ethnicity, and sexual identity. So we offer a series on unconscious bias. So it will help you better understand how you formed prejudices and how you can become more aware so you can change moving forward. So the fifth one is the interdependence and sense of belonging. So each team member should know why they are part of the team. So they should understand their value and responsibility. So if your onboarding is rushed or disorganized, you may miss this. If a new team is created for a special project, the team leader must establish this up from front. So think about how much more productive your team would be if each member had a sense of ownership for the work of others as they do their own work. So members of such a team could lean on each other for ideas and assistance. Diba? After all, two heads are better than one. So when a team is focused on fulfilling its purpose, members can go work to make it happen without keeping tabs on how much they give or take. So, in our series on team building, we offer a course that explains the Tachman model. As a team leader, it is your responsibility to support the members in their interdependence and reinforcement their sense of belonging through all of the stages. So we have the stages, we have the forming, storming, norming, and performing. So the sixth one is the consensus decision making. So harnessing the power of the team can result in innovative and out of the box solutions. So having more people involved in decision making can channel the creative power of multiple minds. The K of consensus decision making, which requires the right processes to be in place. So a few strong personalities might dominate the discussion. So you want to avoid decision by peer pressure. Of course, there will be times when members will have to compromise and come up with the best blend of an ideas as long as they don't feel coerced. So our course on making group decisions explains how to take an organized approach to group decision making to gain consensus. So, decision making meetings must begin with a clearly defined outcomes or desired outcomes to focus the group. So, designated a facilitator and timekeeper. The process continues with information gathering, analysis, brainstorming, and evaluation. So we have the seventh one or the last one. We have the participative leadership. So there's nothing worse than a micromanager. So not only do they stifle creativity, but they often undermine an employee's sense of ownership, confidence, and sense of trust by encouraging a climate of fear. So participative leaders step back and give members the space to work autonomously. So instead of controlling their group, they provide resources, guidance, and information. So how do leaders get their followers? So you have to understand the difference between leadership and power. So we explore this in detail in our course on becoming a great leader or leadership the power. So the challenging is for leaders to understand what power works best in each situation.
Good day everyone, I am Irvin M. Velasquez and I'm here today to discuss about Elton Mayo's theory and Kurt Lewin's theory. There are two important historical landmarks in understanding small groups. The first is the theory of Elton Mayo in 1920s and 1930s, and the second theory is the Kurt Lewin's theory, known as the founder of small groups dynamics movement. Elton Mayo's theory focuses on the individual workers that must be treated as members by the group. Monetary incentives and good working conditions are less important in the individual than the need to belong to the group. And the advantage of this is it gives workers more freedom in work. But the disadvantage of this is more freedom means that they have less control over the workers. And the second theory is Kurt Lewin's theory. Has 3 stages. Unfreeze ensures that the employees are ready to change. The second is change. Execute is intended to change. And unfreeze ensures that the change becomes permanent. That's all, everyone. Thank you and God bless.
A group is composed of 2 or more individuals that shares the same idea and who have come together to accomplish a particular task or a goal. A good example here is a group of dancers. Each member is a dancer. They share music and steps to come up a choreography. What is group dynamics? A group dynamics refers to the attitudinal and behavioral characteristics of a group. How do you know if a group is na siya attitudinal and behavioral characteristic? Example, kaning group of dancers, na siya different kinds of attitudes depende sa genres na kanang makita ni mga manayo sila mga babae, tawagan na nila mga walkers na sila, part yapon na sila sa pagsayaw. And napod tayo group nga manayo murag robot, mo na ila attitude sa dancing a group. In a group, the members share consciousness of membership and interaction. A group is not a mere collection of individuals, but an aggregate of personalities such as skills, talents, shared ideas from a member, acting and interacting with one another in the process of living. To be a member of a group, one must participate in its common life and activities. Let's say a group of dancers, usa ka member is a singer and wala siya nahibuan nga sayaw. Ang katong nga singer nga member dili siya matawag nga dancer kay singer man siya. So malahi siya nga group, madto siya sa banda. In a simple definition, a group dynamics form the structure of a group. Unsa ang group? Dancer ba? Banda? A group of researcher? And how its member function. If ang member is masayaw, kanta, tugtog instruments, and a member mo search og mga articles, mo read og mga articles, mana siya ang functions o function each member sa group.
Concept of social group. So what is the concept of social group? In the social sciences, a social group is 2 or more humans who interact with one another, share similar characteristics, and have collective sense of unity. This is a very broad definition as it includes groups of all sizes, from dyads to a whole society or societies. Wilfredo R. San Juan in 2007 presented that physiologically man is said to be a rational being. Politically, he is a political and power-seeking being. Theologically, he is a religious and God-seeking being. And sociologically, man is gregarious, or in simpler terms, sociable, social being seeking the company of other social beings. The saying, "No man is an island," explains that man cannot live satisfactorily by himself alone which means you can't be satisfied if you're doing things alone or without a companion, and his very existence and the satisfaction of his needs and wants, as well as his happiness, depends to a large degree upon his association with other people.
So for the types of groups, we have primary groups and secondary groups. Primary group is characterized by intimate face-to-face association and cooperation among members. It fundamentally forms the social nature and ideals of an individual. It involves sympathy and mutual identification, which is form of natural expression. So bali sa primary groups kay kana ang last ang people nga involved, unya ang relationship last for a long time, and also relationships are intimate. So bali ang members sa primary groups kay suod na gani kaayo nga kanang imo na silang saligan sa imuhang mga problems, sa imong mga secrets. An example ani kay ang families or ang imuhang mga best friends or imong close friends nga kana ang deep na gani ang inyong panag-upod. Secondary groups consist of members who are aware and cognizant of person relationships, but they do not feel that their lives are bound with one another except in time of crisis. The member may be separated from one another by distance or by lack of person relationship contact. They can share their interests through correspondences, press, radio, telephone, or other means. So, bale, sa secondary groups kay a lot of people are involved na. Anya, short duration laang relationships. Anya, less intimate. So, bale, dili na kay nimo suod ang mga tao, dili na nimo sila masaligan sa mga secrets, sa mga problems, nya mga bag-o lang nimo nakaila. Nya, wala ni dugay ang inyong kanang friendship or relationship nga na superficial relationships lang wala sila ang nabilong sa secondary groups, mga fling-fling, may crush-crush ana nya kanang example ani kay kanang client employee relationship.
So now let's proceed the characteristic of a group.
There are 6 characteristics of a group. First is interaction. Interaction is a pattern of mutual influence. There is physical, verbal, non-verbal, emotional. Interaction, this refers to the connection between 2 or more people. For example, physical when you give high five to your friend. Verbal when you're sharing information and giving one's opinion. Non-verbal, nodding your head. Emotional when you were crying, then the other party already understand how to approach. So, interaction ka na bang nakipag-communicate ka sa usa ka tawo or sa kadaghanan? Unya, nakahibaw sila sa imong gipang storya, maunang muhatag sad silang opinion, and that is what interaction means. Like for example, sa reporting. Reporting, di ba need ka mo discuss, then ask sad ka og question sa imuhang students. And kung makakuha kag response di kanila or naamoy mag-give and take of information, then naay interaction between sa reporter ug sa students. So next is a structure. So structure a stable pattern of relationship. Structure mao ni siya ang imuhang guide to build a relationship. Like, need pakaglig-on na plano to build a stronger relationship pod. Ang kabuuan sa inyong relationship. So, mauni siya ang structure. Rules deals with the behavior expected of a member in a given position. So, ang roles, mauni ang dapat buhaton or trabahoon sa usa ka member. For example, ningdagan kag president sa imong class. So dapat imuha role ipakita nimo ang imong kamaayo para sundon sad kanila. Norms are the rules that identify and describe appropriate behavior. So, ang norms mao ni siya ang mga rules or pamaagi para makahibaw kag sakto ba ang imong gibuhat. So, enter member relations are influence, authority, and communication. So, enter dapat sa isa ka group na kay mo lead or naay leader na kaya mo lead and naay authority to teach the other members pamaagi sa pakig-communicate o pagmaayo.
So, number 3, goals are the reason of existence. Goals are the reason of existence. Syempre, kitang tanan na aman jud tay goals,
Di ba?
kay kung wala, why did we even exist? So, having goals can be the reason nga nung ning exista.
So, number 4, perceived groups is the extent wherein members see themselves as one, which is common faith, similarity, proximity. So, dapat na ay motivation sa isa ka group nga dili lang sila individual na mo face og challenges but they are as one. So, dapat kung kaya sa usa, kaya sa tanan. So, number 5, dynamic interdependency occurs when the members are active, energized, vibrant, and changing. So, it is in terms of making decision na dapat every member of the group has their mutual understanding in order to come up with much better na idea and decision. 6 is motivation focuses on personal needs which when gained lead to the satisfaction. Motivation start with ourselves. Man, if once makit-an na nato kung unsa ang napaka-motivate sa atoa, then adto na ta sa feeling nga kontento na ta. So that it's
So, kinds of formal groups. Number 1 is command group. It is composed of the individuals who report directly to a given manager or a leader. So, familiar naman ta ani kay it is composed of a leader and members man. So, ang leader maghatag sa atong task na dapat ang members pod ang members mubuhat pod sila sa gihatag na task sa leader, and then after mabuhat nila ang ilang task, ila i-report directly to their leader. So, let's proceed to the second one. It is the task groups. It is consists of people who work together to achieve a common task. Members are brought together to accomplish a narrow range of goals within a specified time period. Task groups are also commonly referred to as task forces. The organization appoints members and assigns the goals and tasks to be accomplished. For the last group, it is the functional group. It is created by organization to accomplish goals within a specified time frame. They continue to function even after their goals have been achieved.
So I have here the kinds of informal groups. First is the interest groups. So it usually continue over time and may last longer than general informal groups. So from the word itself, interest, it means it is a group of people who shares the same goals or advocacy toward each other. For instance, kana mga nagrally, di ba? They share common goals or they share common concerns. And that is madinig ang kanilang mga hinaing. Like for example, they are they are asking or they are seeking for government subsidies for farmers. So, di ba, mostly sa interest groups, they resort into lobbying, like lagi mag-rally sila, kay maybe for them, that strategy is effective, kay makakatch sila sa attention sa media, and ma-pressure nila ang policymaker nga i-consider ang ilang mga suggestions or i-address ang ilang mga concerns. So the second kind of informal groups are friendship groups. So friendship groups are formed by individuals who enjoy similar social activities, political beliefs, religious values, or other common bonds. So, kani nga kind sa group, mao nila gitawag nga grupo sa mga taong same og vibes, di ba? It is like association of people who like each other and who like to be together. It could be ang members kay they share common characteristics like their age, their political beliefs, especially karon election is fast approaching. Diba, if same mo pambato or same mo manok in ka-election, so there's a possibility nga magka-click yung duha. And aside from that, pwede rasad ang religious values. So if ang friendship groups ato i-compare into an intimate relationship, mao nilang gitawag nga MU or mutual understanding. It means both of them share the same feelings toward each other. So the last kind of informal groups are reference groups. So reference groups are composed of people who are evaluated for social validation and social comparison. So, diba, we as a person, we often look for others' validation man, diba, especially sa friends, pero not just sa friends, but also in general. Kaya for me, validation plays an important role in our lives and prominent na siya nga we always seek confirmation in all aspects. So, reference group meaning, it's all about making yourself or like creating reassurance by means of interacting yourself to others and relates to making yourself feel like you belong to that particular group or organization. Nya, diba, social comparison meaning you have to understand yourself as well as the behavior of other individual. So it's like pagkikitungo bitaw, but at the same time, ma-assess sad nimo yourself whether you are doing the right thing or not.
Informal groups are formed naturally in response to the common interests and shared values of individuals. They are created for purposes other than the accomplishments of organizational goals and do not have specific time frame. Informal groups are not appointed by an organization and members can invite others to join time to time. So, ang informal groups is walay nagunit nga organisasyon or walay mga leader-leader. Mahitabo la siya pakalit-kalit man or naturally as long as ang mga tawo sa kana nga group same og mga interest. Dili ka pareha sa formal group nga naa di saktong oras para magkapundok. Ang informal bisan kanus bisan asa mahitabo as long as ang mga tawo sa grupo kaparehas rag mga gusto. Bisan pagpila sila kabuok okay kaayo kay wala may nagbuot ana nga organisasyon. A meeting of 5 people seems to be preferred for typical situations. A smaller size sometimes has difficulty functioning because conflicts of power develop. If membership rises above 7, communications tends to become centralized because members do not have adequate opportunity to communicate with one another. So, naay 5 ka miyembro sa usa ka barkada, ang mas maayo. Kung 4 pa ubos kay maglisod ang usa ka group sa barkada tungod sa gamay ra sila. Di kaayo maka-develop og strengths. Kung ang miyembro sad sa usa ka grupo sa barkada kay 7 or more, mas maglisod pud sila kay tungod sa kadamo dili na kaayo matagaan ang uban og chance na makastorya ang uban.